So today I wanted to talk about Governor Gavin Newsom. He's a why can't I talk? He's a current governor of California. And why do I want to talk about this person? Because he's a potential presidential candidate, right? And so, years in the past before I knew what I know now about politics, this is years ago, right? So I just didn't think that the president of the United States affected my everyday life, right? Knowing what I know now, I know that they do, which is like crazy. But their decisions that they make affect everyday Americans' everyday life. And this guy, you appearance mean things. I don't care. You can say it's superficial or whatever. Once you are tapped in to humans, appearance speaks volumes. And I can give you an example. Several examples, which I'm going to give an example with him. But one thing is, if you don't think appearance speaks volumes, think about uniforms. Any uniform that you can think of, you automatically give respect to a police in a uniform. That's part of appearance. You have some type of reverence for someone that's in the military. That is appearance. I look at this guy and I automatically think crook. This guy would try to sell you oceanfront property in Iowa. I will not trust this guy as far as I can throw him. He just does not look trustworthy. He doesn't talk trustworthy. Just going up before he speak one word that we're going to hear. Look at the appearance. You can tell he's thinking. He's contemplating. He's already about to think about the next lie he's going to tell. This video, what does it say? Holds press briefing to promote his revised 2024-2025 state budget plan. So a little bit, some of the things that he did. First of all, California is one of the most beautiful states in this country. I lived in California for 4 years. California is the most expensive state. Well, it's akin to New York. Mainly New York City, maybe New York State. I don't know if whole New York State is expensive as New York City, but it's the most expensive state in the country. And there can be things legislatively that can kind of bring that stuff down, because people are leaving California in droves. And partly it's because of the cost of living, and it's partly because of their policies. One of their policies that they just did was, and this is under his watch, so he has to take blame for it. They approved $20 an hour for fast food workers. Okay, you say on the surface, yeah, that's great. People can get more money. But 1 month after that came into play, because it's just economics. You pay more, you charge more. People come to your restaurant less. You lose money. It's just trickled out. A month after the $20 minimum wage was approved and went into enactment for fast food workers, 10,000 jobs were lost. Did you hear me? 1 month, 10,000 jobs were lost. Now, they're going to continue to, these restaurants and businesses are going to continue to make adjustments. This, that, and the other is going to be much more lost. That's under his watch. He was okay with that getting approved. He was fine with that. So let's see what this I'm not going to call any names. See what he has to say.
Hey, Governor. Well, I haven't talked in a while. Angela Hart, KFF Health News. Thank you. I have recently the state auditor found that California wasn't doing a great job on tracking its homelessness spending. And this isn't a gotcha question. You're doing more than any other governor in the country, really, to address this crisis. So I have a two-parter for you. Do you acknowledge, Governor, is your administration doing enough to determine whether the money that's being plowed into homelessness is being well spent? And do you worry? I'm curious, do you worry that the appetite is souring among the public for spending more, given the lack of progress that's happening?
No, I appreciate.
Keep in mind, California has the worst homelessness problem in the entire country. And they have poured the most money into combating homelessness in California. But one big part of the reason is because in California, they pay you to be homeless. And because of the weather, especially in Southern California, well, it's easier to be homeless. When I lived in California, they said it never rains in Southern California. No, it never rains in Southern California. If it rains in Southern California, it is an event. Basically 70 degrees year round, except for the summer, but median temperature is probably like 70 degrees. That is freaking fantastic. And it doesn't rain. And they're paying them to be homeless. Henceforth, the problem that they have, and they've sunk billions of dollars into combating homelessness. But if that was the case, that they really wanted to combat homelessness, they wouldn't be the state with the highest homeless population in the United States. Make that make sense? Oh, it makes perfect sense to me. You just think about it a little bit.
Appreciate the question and the frame. It's the right question. It's one I ask myself all the time. As you know from the audit, one of the vexing issues that was highlighted in the audit was local appropriations, local data collection. And it's difficult at the state level. I say it often, localism is determinative, and each city and county has different strategies and approaches. We've tried to level set that to your subsequent question about doing enough. As you know, a few years ago, we required accountability plans before we submitted at least one of the discretionary portions, the HAP program, to cities and counties and CACs. I rejected the first plans because I didn't think there was enough transparency and accountability and ambition. We supported the last plans. I also acknowledge that we need to do more, not just in the homeless bucket, but also the mental health / homelessness bucket. That's why Proposition 1 had subsequent reforms as it relates to requirement by July of 2026 to have one single plan for all funding sources for mental health at the local level, with more transparency, auditing, and oversight, again, of local spend. So that audit didn't surprise me in the least, quite the contrary. Also, third, and this is really important, Angela, you know this well, but for others perhaps don't, we also promoted, and I couldn't be more proud of Member Ward introducing just a few days ago, the proposal to take the framework of our housing accountability unit, which, by the way, has unlocked 23,000 housing units in the state. I'm really proud of their work. And to connect a homeless component into that accountability framework, which I think is deeply in the spirit and the zeitgeist of what the audit was at least showcasing. And so that's another tool we hope we are able to have if the legislature embraces it in the next few weeks.
What? He just said nothing. And a large portion of their state budget goes into homelessness. But he just said absolutely nothing. Now, I know this is a press briefing about the actual budget, so we're going to talk numbers. But normally when you talk numbers, you will talk something substantive to reinforce those numbers. For instance, I'm just making something up. Fiscal year 2024, well, what we're going to do, we have our eyes on such and such properties or property owners, 1,000 properties, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to set these 1,000 properties up, and we're going to place these people in these places. And then on top of that, since we already closed all the mental hospitals, we have 5 facilities set up or set to be set up to take the homelessness that need the use of these facilities. And then we're going to put those people in there, and then we're going to see where that goes. None of that. Because even though we're talking about, we're drilling down on things, those things still cost money. None of that. He just said nothing. And this guy can be your potential president. And believe it or not, a lot of women will vote for him because they think he looks nice. Never mind what he's saying. Never mind how he has fucked up California. California has declined by leaps and bounds under his watch. Oh, he's a Democratic governor. He could even run this year. But he's definitely going to run in 2028. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, Governor. I didn't hear responses to either of those questions.
No, because he didn't give them.
This is state money, ultimately. I understand it goes.
She said, I didn't hear responses to any of those questions. No, because he didn't give a response. He's just talking. He's just trying to get through the press conference. And good on her for pressing him a little bit on this. You'll never hear, if you ever watch a press conference with him again, she won't be there ever again.
To the counties, but do you acknowledge whether the money that the state isn't doing enough to ensure that the money is being well spent? I also didn't hear a response to whether you think that there's any, I mean, is the public appetite, do you think, I'm hearing this, like souring towards putting more money into the, I didn't hear responses to either of those.
Well, and forgive me, I'll if I appear to repeat the first response. So the audit did not surprise me. The state has...
And not only that, bro, you smoking them Newports? I guarantee you this guy smokes. Goodness, look at his tan. I know he live in California, but is he outside that much? Is he outside that much? Come on, man. This dude is an actor.
Advanced, unprecedented investments, you're correct, and unprecedented interventions demanding more accountability with state money at the local level. That's why we created a framework for the first state plan under the HAP money. The fact that I rejected it in many ways is implicit in response to the question. I rejected it for a reason around the issue of lack of accountability in terms of ambition and in terms of what was presented in that first plan. The fact that we're creating a housing accountability unit or created one and we want to incorporate homelessness into that also is implicit in response to your question about the need to do more around state money. And the other work we did with Proposition 1 to foundationally reform an existing stream of funding to provide more transparency and state oversight of the local spend, again, is a third, I think, reinforcement of my acknowledgement about the need to see more accountability and why I agreed, as I said, with many of the recommendations and was not surprised, as I noted, with the audit itself. As it relates to the public mood, no question. More is not always better. People want, they want to see results. I've been very crystal clear about that.
It's easy to recognize word salad from a woman, but word salad from a man is just deplorable. I can actually understand word salad from a woman, but word salad from a man, from a governor of the biggest state in our country, one of the biggest economies in the world, and he's saying nothing while saying 2-3 paragraphs of nothing. Come on. Am I the only one seeing this? Because if you can tell me what he's actually saying in regards to that lady's question, please comment it in the comments, please. Because I don't hear anything.
I've been focused, as you know, particularly on the results we want to see on the streets and sidewalks and tents and the issues around encampments. That's why those encampment resolution grants we think are a national model. Also been very insistent that we need to move some barriers in terms of engagement as relates to accountability and results at the local level, as it relates to the grants passed and the amicus brief we filed with the United States Supreme Court. So all of those are demonstrable responses, not rhetorical, but demonstrable responses to both components of your question.
Thank you. That was that was extremely thorough. Thank you.